Hello and welcome back to the Great Lakes Disc YouTube channel. I'm Brian Popple Frawley. I'm super stoked to interview Gage from DGA today. We'll get into his title and what he does here in the interview, but stay for the end because we've got two Great Lakes Disc team members disc to give away. One, we've got an Andrew Marweed signed to Avalanche to give away. He's a DGA player. And a Trevor Harwalt Sale. He's also a DGA player. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the end to find out how to win those. Till next time, keep it in the fairway. All right, welcome back. I'm blessed that you're here. Thanks for being here. Remember, hit that like or subscribe button. We've got our friend Gage from DGA today. We're going right into it. Gage, tell the people how you got involved in disc golf.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. So, I was living in Boise, Idaho. I'm from New Mexico. I'm from Albuquerque, but I'm living in Boise, Idaho for a job. And these super weird youth pastor brothers are like, dude, have you heard of disc golf? And I'm, that like, no. And they're like Chacos 24/7 kind of dudes, right? And I'm, they lived in Australia. They were like strange. So we they introduced me to disc golf. The dude, he dove into the local pond there. If you're familiar with the Boise, Idaho scene, and Morrison, the kind of main disc golf hub there, big water features. So just disc collector, right? But there's geese there, like crazy geese, year-round geese. So there's just a slurry of goose poop, basically, right? So he would don his full scuba gear and be willing to like get the discs because it took the gear to just for like the nastiness of it, right? So then he'd text people, try to sell them, blah blah blah. That was his like whole thing. But then he'd of course had like tons of especially beginner type discs, right? So he hooks it up with the like semi-used pond rescue starter pack, and explains, gives me the like 15 minutes. I like rode my bike to his house. He gives me in his backyard. He's like, this is, this one will go faster. I mean, I don't know, it was like a blur, right, of him like explaining it to me. And I was pretty hooked, man. Right away, I started carrying those discs in, like I had like a little like different version of this like Patagonia sling bag, literally the same bag. And I was like my go-to bag, and 3 discs will fit in there. And so I started bringing discs to work, and there was a park that I could drive to, and I would just go, I just started falling in love. Moved back to Albuquerque, New Mexico pretty quickly. Ended up like moving back to where I'm from. And I came in, I had never played with anybody. So I played up there alone. Like I had my discs and I had my thing. Like I went alone and I had my, and then I got back here to Albuquerque, and then that's where I like showed up to league one day, you know what I mean? And rest is history. So
yeah, for sure.
That that was my intro was Boise, Idaho. So
yeah, I definitely get the like this is my thing, this is a self thing, and then all of a sudden you're like exposed to the world of disc golf that we have when it comes to leagues and tournaments and clubs and get-togethers and things like that, and it like opens your eyes. I remember like the first time I met people from the Flint Town Flyers. I learned to play in Flint, Michigan, and like
wow.
it was like meeting a whole bunch of your future brothers. You just didn't know it yet. You know what I mean?
Dude, totally. And of course, it's like that classic, like I got paired with the weirdest guys that are still a huge part of our local scene, just those absolute out there dudes. And I mean, and we're at, the Albuquerque scene here is a pretty, like, it's a developing scene, let's say, right? There's courses still coming in, and I've been a part of trying to help that, since then. But it's still, still kind of a growing scene. So it's very like insular, and there's a internal lingo, and we're playing an alternate course on a course, like an like a safari course on a course I've never been on. And dude, these guys are not helping me. I mean, they're giving me like the bare minimum to, like we're going this to that, all this local lingo. And I was so lost, but it, stuck with it, and met some people I could kind of relate to better. And, ended up exactly what you're saying. Those guys are like dear friends now, you know what I mean? And it's, totally. So it's been a journey, but mainly my game grew then in Albuquerque, where I kind of like played in leagues, started getting interested in tournaments, that sort of stuff. And then I kind of hit the road eventually. But yeah, that was the intro.
So you're playing, you're getting into the scene. Obviously, you're playing a few tournaments, and then DGA opens the position this past winter, past fall or whatever, and you apply for it. So what is your official title at DGA?
DGA. Okay, so I'm the marketing manager for DGA. I mean, I'm the marketing department. I manage myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I get that.
but I,
I know that feeling.
I'm a handful though, like Kelly from The Office says. But yeah. So I'm the marketing manager. So I'm responsible for pretty much all the anything creative that you see that's coming out of the DGA universe is either at this point being made from scratch by me, or I'm like working with another artist who I'm kind of like overseeing their work and working with them.
Mhm.
A lot of the stuff that's on the website is still created by Josh Orzek, who is also involved in the creative side at DGA, but he's made websites, stuff like that. So I'm kind of
Yep.
more on the video photography type of side. So that's my day-to-day job at
Yeah.
DGA. Yeah. So
So, under that umbrella of all the things that you have to do, I understand that. My job is brand manager. We don't even know what that means. So, yeah. Uh yeah, I've got a lot under my umbrella. I know you do too. So like social media falls under your umbrella, right?
for sure. Yes, sir.
So like for those that are watching, we get a lot of people that are trying to like build their brand personally, or even companies trying to build their brand and they grow. Like, what would you say is the main message you're trying to get across when it comes to DGA social media platforms?
So I would say that the main message is I want to center the fun and kind of excitement of disc golf. Most of the time, that's done with our top tier team, our tour team,
Yeah.
which is eight competitors out there who are kind of like our superstars, right? But
Yeah.
then also, there's an aspect of trying to really balance that and mix that in with kind of like folks like you and I, right, who just love
Yeah.
disc golf and are everyday competitors or everyday participants and recreationally, and we love our local scenes and we love, and so there's try to always convey that like there's an excitement and fun in disc golf. Usually through our tour team is like our most honed message. And we have a good precedent for that. Ed said the famous quote, most fun wins.
Yeah.
We get to kind of carry that as DGA, which is like, we love that. I take that. I love to put that sort of code on of like, most fun wins. And so I hashtag basically everything with that, I mean, it's just something that we try to resound with. And, now we have this like really high profile team. So yeah, we're trying to compete maybe a little more, right, and balance that with this new presence. You're plugged into that, right, with
Oh
Andy.
yeah.
And dude, he's having a great year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's really been up there, and that competitive aspect allows us to be more visible, gives us more opportunities. So it's a part of it too. But anyway, yeah, the messaging is fun.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. You guys ran the most fun wins t-shirts last year, which I thought were a great hit. I
Yeah,
love rocking mine in the store. I know Carl,
those are
who's on
cool.
your team too. Carl rocks it in the store.
That's
It's a
right.
great attitude to have as a what I would call true weekend warrior. Like, yes, my real job
Right.
is disc golf, but like it's not throwing them is my job. Trust me. You got to have fun when you're out there. You know what I mean?
100%, dude. And that's why, like, the middle ground between landing at trying to literally hit the road. I truly did at one point. So I didn't touch a frisbee until I was 35, right? This was 5 years ago. And I genuinely believed I could get out there and maybe do something. And I was like, I got to being like a 950 rated, 960 rated at one point. And, I was like, I'm going to at least see what it's like to get out on the road and travel and compete, and quickly realized that I had a much better chance to participate in all of this on the media side. And so
Yeah.
that was really what happened is I was out in the van on the road, and I realized like I could start photographing tournaments. I started
Mhm.
doing some stuff for the pro tour and became aware of these opportunities like this one with DGA. But like to your point, dude, I didn't have a prayer of making a
Right.
dollar out there
Yeah.
throwing my discs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we look good for 40, but we ain't gonna beat Kyle Klein and Cole Dolan anytime soon.
No, dude. And now you got Kale LaVisca and Trevor Harbolt and
Yeah.
Shasta. And I mean, all these guys at MP40. It's not any better, dude. Like,
No. Nope.
Those guys are
No.
so good. So
No, no.
yeah, I
You
mean,
catch me on the and side for the rest of my
yeah,
life. I'm all right with that.
yeah. So here,
So
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say, so like obviously I'm addicted to the internet. Like I see every company's social platforms. I follow
Okay.
them all. I see what every marketing's like. Do you have a favorite let's say commercial campaign post that you've done since you've been with DGA?
Yeah, dude, I'm really proud. Well, man, it's tough. I feel like what's happening is, candidly, I'm 6 months into this job, right?
Right.
And it's a growth edge for me. Like I'm learning a lot. I mean, I'm just, I'm not going to pretend like I'm being challenged on a daily, weekly basis creatively to meet new goals, right? To create videos with a new vibe, create graphics that are a little just bit out of like my kind of like organic style and element, right? Like I can't, I'm where we've hit this point where I can't just do what I think's cool. Like that's not it, right? The target's tighter. And so I feel like almost the last stuff, each thing I'm making is like that's the best one, like the last one that I
Yeah.
made. So I'm really proud of the Surf and Sonar promotional video that just went aired. It made it onto DGN's ad space last weekend. It's on our YouTube channel. It features our players. It features our brand new plastic. It's got a vibe that we're trying to hit as a brand with like a West Coast fun vibe, right? And I feel
Yeah.
like it hits all that. And so it's also a little more just has interesting stuff. It's got waves and sonar sounds, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to have more fun with video elements like that. I'm starting to feel a little more confident in mixing in some stuff like that instead of just like my core skill set, which is more like photography and more just like these like crisp images and stuff. I'm starting to be able to step into this more abstract space, and it's fun. It's been cool. So those are some of the funnest thing, best thing I would say is that last ad. I'm really proud of it. So
All right, so this was not on our pre-written question, so I'm throwing you a
whoa,
curveball here. But
whoa,
like,
whoa.
so let's say we circle back in a year, we get you on the 2025 interview. Like,
Okay.
what do you think will be your favorite thing? Like, what are you looking forward to as a challenge? You know what I mean?
Man, okay, so I can't reveal the project itself, but we
Yeah.
have some we're working on some graphical things coming up here that I'm trying to actually manage myself these graphics and not, and I'm excited about the what I have already in the works
Okay.
and what I think is going to be. So I'm, at in another life I did a whole bunch of graphic design and I'm like sort of dusting all that off, and this
Nice.
project's getting me really fired up. So hopefully next year we'll be able to talk about some really sick graphics that we did.
Well, as soon as you can leak it, I know where you can leak it. So
Okay. All right. We'll see what we
let me
can do.
help you promote it on the side. You know what I mean?
All right. All right. All right. All right.
I like
That
that
sounds pretty
about
good.
you. So,
Okay.
you know, DGA doesn't have the largest following, like let's just be
All right.
honest, like
Totally, man.
but
Yeah, yeah.
they have a passionate following for the level of followers that they have both on Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So, what you as the marketing guy, like what's your favorite platform to interact with fans on?
I think I've landed on where we get the most kind of fun engagement is actually Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
On Facebook we get a lot of engagement and that's fun as well. But yeah, I would say that's probably like our little like our centered platform at the moment, and a lot of that once again has to do with the tour team.
Yeah.
Is that this is a largely younger group of athletes that we're featuring. Most of them, that's actually the only social platform they're using, literally.
Fair.
Like they're
Yeah.
not using Facebook at all. They're not using X, Twitter at all. So to work well in our whole ecosystem, it's kind of really landed there, and
Yeah.
it's worked out well. And it's a space that for sure has like people pop off and do internet things. There's still
Yeah.
trolls. There's
No.
still
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff,
Yep.
but I would say it's a little less volatile than what I've experienced on Twitter. And then on the Facebook side, what I've noticed is we have a ton of hardcore fans, but everybody's like they're goofy. Everybody wants to goof off and create sarcasm and jokes, and it's
Yeah.
fun, but it does create kind of this like it's just a different vibe. It's a little bit more of like it it can be different expectations for what that
Yeah.
conversation will have at Facebook. So yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
I know, like, your predecessor did, the Friday afternoon happy hours, things like that. That was on YouTube, Facebook, or
Yeah,
whatever. And I would pop in there and say hi, but like, yeah, it's tough to keep a consistent basis going to something like that and keeping the engagement and the fun level up. And I know that for experience, that's why I do these recorded ones instead of like popping off live. So like, yeah, I
totally,
totally
dude.
get that. And as a guy that's, manages social media as well and is in his 40s, like, yeah, Facebook is so much easier than Instagram, but Instagram is where a larger population of disc golfers I find to be. So, you still see me hiding out on X. I miss DGA on X. They
Sure.
were they were fun to hang out with, but yeah, it's great to see the variety, especially some of your younger players like Ezra and Cole. Like they do a great job posting on Instagram, and like
They do.
mad props to them. Like I give them their flowers or whatever you want to say. They stay engaged
Sure.
and they're really building their brand that way, which is wonderful to see for our sport because I think if everybody continues to build their brand, it just makes the brand of disc golf better. You know what I mean?
100%, dude. And thank you for, sharing that about Ellie and Cole. They both are intentional about it. They spend time. They want to have a great space to engage with their fans. That's like the biggest thing is they want to be accessible. But what's something that I encourage Ellie and Cole, who are both very young, and something that I'm bringing even to this moment with DGA's social media spread is a little bit of balance with
Yeah.
what we do. And I'll say it to them, and I'll say it here, like, you don't have to do it all. What you
Yeah.
choose your lanes and hit those notes really well and clearly, and allow people to understand that's where they can engage with you and that be predictable there. But then you can be willing to say no to other things to create balance. That's
For
where
sure.
it's part of where I said no to Twitter X, is it was like, looking at the scope of responsibility I'm taking on as marketing manager, how much of that do I truly want to spend on just social media? Because
Yeah.
that's, well, an important front door, not the only front door. And then, with our business model involving a lot of course sales, basket sales, things like that, there's a lot of other stuff on the plate, right? And
Right.
so we had to kind of like make some choices about, like, is this a space that we see future engagement, that we see meaningful sales driven engagement, et cetera,
Mhm.
and so, yeah, I made that choice to kind of opt out of X. And obviously there's been times, and, people like, what's going on there? And, I do feel that it's been okay. I think that we have moved forward. And part of that, again, back to that centering the team, and
Yeah.
keeping me like, dude, this is the first like thing I've done. I had no intention of even doing this kind of thing at all. I was going
Right.
to just be truly behind the scenes. And I've brought on like Mitch Phillips as a
Hmm.
media ambassador to kind of fill that role that Tyler had, being out in front
Yeah.
of folks. Like, I'm not gonna do that, right? That's not me in the
Fair.
same way.
Yeah.
And so that's Mitch is doing some stuff like that. And so, yeah, Instagram has kind of been this place where that all seemed to make the most sense. So
Yeah, I truly get that. Like I'll be honest, I'm probably better at answering the questions than I am at asking them. But sometimes,
sure,
with our roles, things fall into place, and this worked for us at our time. And
totally.
we were glad you said yes to this because I think there are more people interested in disc golf from the industry side than would ever announce it. Like I think people want to
Right.
know more about what you do for a job, what I do for a job, not just like who can throw far. Like it's cool and who's going to score well, but like there are more and more, I would say, like high intellect people looking at disc golf as a career. So like let's find a way to get them involved and continue to grow and spread our sport because the longer I can stay in sweatpants and feed my kids chicken nuggets, the more that I win. You know what I mean?
100, dude, yeah, for sure. I do know what you mean. And I agree. We've seen a professionalization in our sport, right?
For sure.
We're transitioning from grassroots levels of organization into professionalized levels of organization. Kind of painful sometimes, kind of goofy sometimes, right?
Oh,
Like,
oh yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes we move too quickly into that. We need to bring it, it's a whole process, right? But I totally, that's, you're kind of telling my story in that sense of like, that's, I realize like, I want to be a part of this. This is amazing. But the, that's realistically like where I have a skill set and a background as a marketer and a photographer and that sort of stuff, right? And then yeah, and then I got to go live the life and travel around the country a couple laps with these guys, pretty much with the whole pro tour circus, right? And so it
Yeah.
was, but there's no way I'm doing that otherwise, right?
Right. And that's, I have no problem selling discs at the fly mart instead of throwing
Right.
Northwood Black 3 times. I don't think I'd do great at that.
No, man. I like to go after, yeah, after hours,
For sure,
from
brother.
from the short tees, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing wrong with the short tees. Let's be honest, man. We got gray in
Not
our
at
beard. We're
Northwood,
fine. Yeah.
right? But
So what's next for DGA when it comes to marketing or fun or frisbees, whatever you want to say. But it would be a great time to leak information. Only like 5 people watch this anyway, so like
this is super like inner
now is the
circle.
yeah now is the time to leak something so that people can get excited about.
Well, I tell you what, man, I think that we'll look back just a little bit. We just dropped our tour series, so that was kind of a big milestone, as
Yeah,
well as releasing those new prototype putters. So I do feel like we kind of actually just threw some big stuff out there into the world, and we're going to be in a phase here of a little bit of kind of creating some new content. I'm going to travel out to the West Coast and be part of this leg of the tour and stuff.
yeah,
But I think coming out, what you're going to see from us is a little bit more of a just kind of a newer vibe. We'll say
yeah.
that
Sounds great.
across the board, and from our artwork to our videos. Hopefully, you're starting to see it already, but just kind of a funner, more
Yeah,
West Coast vibe.
yeah.
And
I get it.
if hopefully you're seeing that, I think that's the
All
best
right.
way I can put it.
Yeah, I dig it. I feel what you're saying. I can get behind that for sure. So let's turn the DGA hat off for a minute. Let's just
Okay.
talk to Gage, the disc golfer. Real quick, Gage, what's your favorite disc?
Favorite disc? Okay, I'm not like I have like this is obviously going to be very Homer, but it's a DGA Rogue for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong
yeah.
with
I
that.
mean, I'm gonna be super Homer. Like prior to working for DGA, it was a different disc, but it's since then I've aced with it. It's so I can throw it so far. It just yeah, Rogue. If you haven't thrown a Rogue, get on it.
Yeah, I mean, prior to Brian with Discraft, I would have told you it was a Gateway Wizard. Now it's a Soul
Sure.
or it's a Heat. So yeah, whichever one can go
Ooh,
go better for me.
I love the heat. I
Yeah,
love the
it's
heat.
it's easy
The,
distance for a man with gray in his beard. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
for sure.
So
The heat is delicious.
Gage, now is the time to shout out. Do you have social medias that for the company or for you that you want to shout out? Do you have sponsors on the road besides your company that pays you? Tell us what to look for.
So, I mean, first person, huge need to make a huge shout out to my partner, my girlfriend, Kelly Erickson. She's, travels with me full time and is like full time tour manager and, is just an amazing human. And, a lot of the people that have worked on some of the projects that we've been involved in know her. She's always there. She's always involved.
Shout out
She's
Kelly.
Shout out Kelly. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's my ride or die. So just thank you, Kelly, for everything. But yeah, beyond that, you can check out, of course, the DGA socials, at DGA Disc Golf. My social is Instagram's just at Gage_photo. You can find me
Great.
there. That's
Yeah.
where it's pretty quiet these days. It all just goes to DGA, to be honest. But yeah, maybe we'll revive that a little bit. And I'm a road warrior for the moment. We're out here for the rest of this season for sure. And out in so you can always catch us at most of the like tour type events, that sort of thing.
Well, when you swing through the Midwest, I'll be disappointed if you don't stop at Great Lakes Disc. But we love you either way. We got a little giveaway to do. Shout out
Okay.
team members, Great Lakes Disc. First and foremost, we got Trevor Hardball. He's not riding a narwhal on this one. He's riding an octopus. This is one of his sails. Nope. Yes, sails. Or it's a rogue. It's a sail, I think. So grab one of those sails, or we have the Andrew Marweed signed Disc Golf Pro Tour Avalanche. Oh, it's fancy. It's shiny. So you're going to comment your favorite DGA mold below. And in a few weeks after this release, we're going to pick a winner. And we'll ship those out to you. Gage, Can't thank you enough for your time. Thanks for being involved in disc golf. Everyone's making high tide raises all boats, and that's what we're doing here at disc golf. So thank you very much for your time, and really appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Until next time, keep it in the fairway. Thanks for watching.